Lost in conversation. Lost in conversation. Lost in conversation. Lost in conversation.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Lost in Conversation. I'm here with Dave.
Hey, we're here today to discuss a show that was really big and important to our youth, and it's called The Dukes of Hazzard.
Breaking down the first episode and the finale.
All right, let's do
this. All right. Dukes of Hazzard, American action comedy television series that aired on CBS, and it started in January 1979 to February 1985. Like Dave says, a show that was very, in our generation, very something we grew up with.
Yeah, very instrumental to our youth, I guess.
Yes, I know I had the Dukes of Hazzard lunchbox, the metal. It was a metal lunchbox with the plastic thermos in it. Probably had a lot of other stuff, maybe some blankets or some random
And
stuff.
what kid doesn't like watching fast cars? I mean, come on.
Yeah, cool
Hot Wheels,
jumps.
You got your Hot Wheels cars. It's like Hot Wheels coming to life, you know?
Daisy Duke.
Oh, yeah. That was later in my youth that I appreciated that.
Okay, so the Dukes of Hazzard was the most popular TV show in the late 70s, early 80s. Dukes of Hazzard had a really good cast. Very few characters, but they're all good actors. They had the Duke boys, cousins, Bo and Luke Duke, who lived on a family farm in Hazzard County, Georgia, is where this takes place. Their attractive female cousin that we were just talking about here, Daisy, wise old Uncle Jesse. The boys, they race around in a customized 1969 Dodge Charger stock car, and it's called the General Lee, invading crooked and corrupt county commissioner Boss Hogg, who me and Dave for the longest time thought was the sheriff. Turns out he's just the commissioner. And his bumbling, corrupt sheriff, Roscoe, along with his deputies, and always managing to get caught in the middle of various escapes. Bo and Luke previously been sentenced to probation for illegal transportation of moonshine. Their Uncle Jesse made a plea bargain with the U.S. government to refrain from distilling moonshine in exchange for Bo and Luke's freedom. As a result, they're on a 5-year probation, not allowed to carry firearms. Instead, they carry crossbows, sometimes tipped with dynamite. I always wondered why they never had any firearms, so that explains why.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to leave Hazzard County unless they get permission from their probation officer, Boss Hogg. How's the commissioner of the probation officer? I don't know. Although exact details of their probation terms vary from episode to episode. Sometimes it's implied that they would be jailed for merely crossing county line. Other occasions, it's shown that they may leave Hazzard as long as they are back within a certain time limit.
Yeah. It's a one-horse town, man. They make their own rules, right?
This TV show is actually based on the 1975 B movie Moonrunners. That gave birth to what would become the Dukes of Hazzard a few years later. Many of the same plots, characters, and details flow through both. This movie stars two cousins. It also has Waylon Jennings as the balladeer, who in the show does the opening song, the theme song, and he's also the narrator on the show. In addition, the movie and the TV show both have the Boar's Nest, the popular tavern. And Uncle Jesse's basically the same character in both the movie Moonrunners and the TV show.
Wow, Uncle Jesse gets around.
Did you know it was based on that show?
No, I didn't.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
There's a lot of backstory that we're going to go over that we're both surprised.
Yeah, very deep show, surprisingly.
About Boss Hogg? Did you think he was... I thought he was the sheriff.
I guess as a kid, I'm thinking, well, he's in charge of this whole thing here. So he must be the sheriff, and Roscoe's just like his head deputy.
That's what I thought.
It's actually Sheriff Roscoe, but he doesn't seem like a typical sheriff. It's sort of like Andy Griffith, and you got bumbling Don Knotts as the deputy, but
yeah,
you think of him sort of like that kind of character, like the goofball character. Yeah, so let's talk a little more about this. We got the theme of the Dukes of Hazzard.
Waylon Jennings. I like a lot of his music. Good artist. He was in the Buddy Holly band at one point. So.
Really?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Wow, didn't know that. So yeah, this song, the theme song, "Good Old Boys," was written and recorded by Waylon Jennings and released in 1980. That became sort of the staple. Like, people recognize this show from that song and vice versa. The song from Dukes of Hazzard became a #1 hit on the Billboard Hot Country Singles in 1980. So really paved the way for him with that song. Like Clay mentioned, he narrated the movie Mood Runners. He was also serving in the same capacity for Dukes of Hazzard. So started in 1979.
I thought he did a good job. I liked
Yeah.
the way the freeze frame
Oh, yeah.
going into the commercial saying these boys are in a lot of trouble. Or sometimes it'll be in the middle of a jump and the car will be up in the air a lot of times.
And then there'd always be some wacky saying, like country style saying, like, boy, he's in trouble like a moonshiner in the middle of a Mississippi mud pit or something. You know, we kind of laugh at that, trying to come up with our own original sayings.
A whole heap of trouble.
Yes, that's right. There's 2 versions of this song that he wrote, and one of them's a little bit different because in the original version, I guess they never show his face.
Yeah.
Like, he even changes some of the lines to basically say that, you know, Mama, you can never see my face, because she doesn't understand why they keep showing his hands and not his face. So that's sort of like his tongue-in-cheek reference there. So let's talk about the show a little bit more. So we got the 2 modern-day Robin Hoods, as is said in the closing line of the song.
Yeah.
Well, the yeehaw, giving that country accent. Bo Duke, played by John Schneider, and Luke Duke, Tom Wopat. They're the 2 main characters here. They're getting into all these hijinks.
So you think it's both of them yelling yeehaw at the end of the song, but it's actually just, I believe Luke.
Oh, no, it's Bo. Yeah, it's Bo's voice, John Schneider. They're using his vocals twice.
It is, yes. It's Bo's, yeah. I think he had a little music career after this. I'm not sure, though.
Well, not to be a spoiler, but there's a scene in the finale where there's some singing going on, and get to realize that they actually have some vocal skills there. So, interesting fact about the show. Before the 5th season, Tom Wopat and John Schneider left the show over a merchandising royalties dispute and were actually replaced by 2 other actors, Christopher Mayer and Byron Cherry, who played different characters. They're actually 2 other Duke cousins, Vance and Coy Duke. Eventually, Wopat and Schneider end up back on the show after they resolve their dispute.
Have you seen an episode with them too?
I have not.
I haven't. I feel like I briefly saw, like, who are these guys? That's not, like, are you kidding me? It just seems really
it doesn't seem right, man. So, yeah, luckily for them, they got their contract renewed. The whole reasoning that they were off the show, their characters were missing, was explained by them trying their hands as NASCAR drivers. So, that was kind of funny. So this one really was interesting to me. So Sorrell Brooke, who plays Boss Hogg, was actually a great intellect. He's a classically trained Shakespearean actor and a graduate of Columbia and Yale.
You never think that, right?
And fluent in 5 languages. Who knew, right? He was especially accomplished with replicating dialects. So that's why he's so good at being believable with that Southern accent, that South Carolina.
He's very good at that, yeah.
South Carolina accent, which is based on Senator Strom Thurmond. So he has a very distinct accent. Another fun fact, his belly was also fake, and it was just a padded suit that he was wearing to give him the extra girth.
Huh.
So, yeah, makes him look a little more round.
Who would have known Boss Hogg had such a deep background
Yes,
there?
he's actually like a normal-sized guy that probably talks like this.
Enos, who is one of the police there, got his own spin-off series in 1980 entitled Enos.
Wow, original.
It featured the Dukes of Hazzard character working for the LAPD. It lasted 1 single season. Me and Dave actually watched the opening theme song. It just did not make me really want to watch it. I know they had characters, I believe, made appearances. We saw one that had Roscoe in it.
It's like they're just basically not doing anything original here. They're just trying to copy Dukes of Hazzard without any of the other characters. And like a lot of spinoffs, it didn't really turn out too well. One season.
Enos doesn't seem that strong of a character on the show to have his own show.
He's not a lead character, you know? Just not in the cards.
I could see maybe after the show had ended, Bo or Luke, Daisy, Jesse, I don't know, one of the main characters.
Sure.
Possibly.
Yeah, Roscoe even. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, according to the creator of the show, Guy Waldron, Uncle Jesse raised Bo, Luke, and Daisy after their parents died in a car crash. So, here's an interesting thought. So, if that was actually true, And that would mean that there would have been 3 different sets of parents who died in the same car crash. So what are they driving there? Are they driving a minivan? I mean, that doesn't seem like the kind of vehicle you would be driving through Hazzard County in. I don't know.
3 different set of parents. Was there 3 different vehicles, all parents hitting each other at one time?
I don't know. I'm going to go for the minivan.
Because Hazzard County has a lot of road problems. You can see there's a lot of construction going on.
That's true.
Possibly. Or maybe the children inherited the crazy driving style and they all just like went up in a jump and hit each other at the same time.
That could be. That could be. It's interesting.
It never is explained why Daisy, Bo, and Luke are all there. And they don't have any, that's their family members. It's just Jesse and each other.
Yeah. I mean, it's believable that they died in a car crash because, they're all kind of wild and crazy, but,
3 set of parents, though.
They were all into moonshining, too, as they go into it a little bit.
Even Boss Hogg was.
Yeah. It's the whole Uncle Jesse. They're all moonshiners. You ever had moonshine? That's some pretty intense stuff, man.
Really?
Yeah.
How was it? Did it burn your throat?
No. It just works really fast. Like you drink a little and you're feeling good like immediately.
I think there's moonshine they sell at a store, which is probably not the real stuff. And then there's like stuff you don't get in a store.
Yeah, my dad came across some. I don't know. He got it from somebody and a couple Christmases back.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dave is from Gloucester, so that actually makes me believe this could happen.
Yeah. Well, this was in Yorktown, but
okay.
Close enough. So some neighbor had it and he had a bottle in a mason jar. It was a mason jar. And it was like this apple pie flavoring. It was really good.
Okay.
And it was just a tiny bit really in the mason jar. And I just took like a shot of it. And wow.
Yeah? What happened?
Feeling really good the rest of the night.
How was it like going down?
It was just like anything else.
Really?
Just any other whiskey or something. I don't really have basis for a comparison because I had never had it before or after. So
wow.
I don't really remember.
Okay.
So anyway, if you go to a place called Luray, Virginia, you can find artifacts from the show on display, as well as Nashville, Tennessee, and Gatlinburg, Tennessee. The guy who plays Cooter, his name is Ben Jones. He actually has a place in Luray, Virginia. And you've been there, right?
He actually lives there.
Right.
He lives about 20 minutes from the Cooters in Luray.
Right. Yeah, that's up my way because Luray is maybe about an hour from my house.
Yeah, me and Meredith went there. We went to the Luray Caverns, and we also went to Cooters, Dukes of Hazzard Museum, and it was a very fun time. They have a lot of Dukes of Hazzard memorabilia in there, like a lot. And I guess every Saturday, and he has a band, they play there every Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah, it was
Is
fun.
he playing the washboard? In the
Dave's talking about the finale. He played a washboard. Dude, it was cool. They have the General Lee there and one of the police cars there. They have Boss Hogg's car in there. They have Cooter's tow truck in there. They have a diner called Daisy's Diner. It was real fun. It was a fun time. We had a fun experience. One of the guys that works there, we got our picture taken in the front. A lot of people were getting their pictures taken in the front. This guy somehow really messed the picture up that it was it didn't show the Cooter sign or anything.
Oh, man.
And the funny thing is that when I got my phone back, I was like, yeah, you're probably taking these pictures all the time. I was like, yeah. Which is weird that he'd messed the picture up so bad that since he's probably taking pictures of people there a million times, right?
Wow.
It was cool. They had the show playing on in one of the areas. They actually had the poster of the Moonshiners movie poster.
Really?
In there.
Wow. I'm going to have to check out that Moonshiners movie now.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm interested.
They say it's a B movie on there, so it's probably not real.
Yeah.
High budget. But had a good time there. I would go there again. It was fun. I guess they do different events there. They had a tractor that the employees there were really excited about. They just put it together and said it was in one episode. They asked us, yeah, do you remember that episode, such and such, we had the tractor? And we're just kind of, we didn't. We're just like, oh, yeah, not really, but okay. And they had just put it together, giving people rides around in the tractor that was on the show.
Wow. That's cool.
And we were asking a guy, what's it like to work here? And he's like, oh, yeah. I was like, it's Cooter. It's pretty cool. He's like, oh, Ben. Oh, yeah, Ben lives 20 minutes down. He's cool. It was fun. When were your experience with the show, Dave?
Just as a little kid, I remember it being on TV a lot. When I was a kid, I didn't have my own TV in my room for a few years. So I was, anytime I was just at home by myself watching TV, I'd flip through the channels and I'd see this show. I'm like,
we didn't have nearly the selection that kids do now.
No.
We probably had 4 or 5 choices.
Yeah, so, this was going to be on TV a lot, and I was like, wow, what is this? Look at that guy driving that car real fast, and he's doing all these jumps, and it just seemed like total chaos the whole time.
Yeah.
It was very interesting for a kid.
Me and my brother used to slide across the hood.
Yeah.
On our station wagon. Me and my brother Chad would run and slide.
Nice.
And we'd leave the windows open sometimes, so we'd like jump through the window.
Yeah, I always thought it was weird. I mean, again, I didn't understand race car driving at the time. So as a little kid, I'm like, man, there's no doors. They just jump through the window, man. How do they do that? You know?
As a kid, it was awesome watching the jumps.
Yeah.
Like they were always doing construction for some reason on that show. As a kid, you're watching, you probably got your toy car, and you probably like send your toy car on a jump as you watch it or something.
Yeah, right. Hot Wheels. You know, everybody's got Hot Wheels as kids. So yeah, that was pretty much my experience.
I would say this show also is probably influenced also on Smokey and the Bandit, probably.
Yeah. I think they make a reference to Burt Reynolds in the pilot.
Yes. So this was a CBS television show. So how about without further ado, Dave, you do your 60-second synopsis on the pilot episode.
Oh boy! Wow, this can be an event.
It should be fun, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay,
hold on to your seatbelts. It's gonna be a hootin' good time here.
Yep, hootin' hollering.
Okay, are you ready? I'll give you a countdown.
Hold on. Oh boy, that's
okay.
Tough, man.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right, the original, the pilot was named One-Armed Bandit. So Roscoe brings in slot machines to Hazzard County to fill his pockets, but the Dukes turn him into a hero when they steal the machines and turn the proceeds over to an orphanage. Woo! How do we get there? Let me tell you. So we get introduced to the characters. Boss Hogg, he really wants those slot machines. Then you got the General Lee chasing the police car. Typical thing going on in Hazzard County. You got Waylon Jennings doing the narrating. We get introduced to Daisy in a bikini, Uncle Jesse, retired moonshiner, Roscoe P. Coltrane, the brother-in-law of Boss Hogg, who's the county commissioner. So Jill Dobson, an old flame of Bo Duke, is trying to fund this orphanage, and she needs money. So a bunch of hijinks ensue. There's a fertilizer truck, which is a doubling for the slot machines, and then Enos gets involved, and
10 seconds.
Daisy gets taken out of jail. They sneak her out of jail, and they trick Roscoe into getting credit for the orphanage
3, 2, 1.
Having a celebration.
Good job.
Wow. I feel like I rushed through some of that.
Good job, man.
Thanks.
What establishes the main characters? Obviously, Bo and Luke Duke, Jesse, also Daisy.
Yeah. She makes a grand entrance in this pilot.
Yeah. I think the very first scene we're seeing, Cooter has a part in the first scene. Definitely Bo and Luke.
Right.
It was weird how they had the theme song was like kind of like an introduction / theme song.
Yeah, it wasn't like the other episodes where they're just playing the theme song. It's like you got little bits of what's happening in the episode right away.
Definitely Bo, Luke, Jesse, Daisy, Boss Hogg, Roscoe Pico Train. He had quite the interesting backstory. He's running for sheriff on the first episode.
That's right. He's trying to get reelected.
Yeah. So those are the main characters. I would say the show is definitely not meant to be taken very serious.
Right. Yeah. It's an action comedy. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun show.
It's fun. Yeah, definitely. It has some comedy. I think Roscoe Pico Train and Boss Hogg bring the most comedy on the show. Yeah.
And there's some comedy from the Duke boys too, because they say some pretty wacky things at times.
Tell them about the line about, okay, well, I guess you broke it down about the orphanage.
Yeah. And so there's a part talking about the orphanage, and Luke is there, and Bo's telling Luke about what's going on with that girl trying to save the orphanage.
It's a girl that Bo remembers as a kid. He actually says, wow, what hormones can do, which is pretty funny.
And Luke is always the voice of reason. He seems sort of like he's more grounded. He's like, oh, hey, man.
Well, he's older in real life, and I believe he's wiser on the show.
Why are you trying to get involved in this? And he's like, oh, come on, man. You know you've probably got 2 kids in that orphanage.
That's crazy, man.
Like, wow, this is stuff these kids say, huh?
That's crazy. So the name of the pilot was the One-Armed Bandits.
Yes.
The show went on for a total of 7 seasons. I'm surprised it didn't go more than that.
Yeah. I mean, it's very entertaining.
7 seasons is a good run, though.
Yeah.
See, how would you rate the theme? Okay, so the theme song, I would say, is very iconic. Probably one of the best theme songs.
It's one of the most fitting theme songs for the show that it represents.
The funniest part of the pilot might have been the cheesiness where Bo was going to help the young lady who's trying to help fix the orphanage.
Yeah. Oh, there's a part where he's like at her doorstep and he's like got a saw and he's sawing like the end of the step off.
And she's not even working on the step. She's working on like the railing. You could tell it's like the 2x4s that have not painted yet. And he just grabs the saw, doesn't ask questions, just starts sawing. You don't actually see him sawing. You just see his face and hear the saw going. And he's like basically saying, yeah, I've been fighting the corruption in this town every day. But he doesn't work. What are these guys doing?
Like, he's just getting into trouble all the time, really, and picking up girls. So I don't see a whole lot of fighting going on.
Does Jesse have a farm?
Yeah.
Should they be working on the farm?
Yeah, you would think. Yeah. He's always...
I don't see him. They're not working on the farm very much.
He's got him over for breakfast.
Yeah.
Every day. Otherwise, they're eating donuts and beer for breakfast on Saturdays, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah.
They don't look like the type of guys that would be... They're not out of shape, so that seems like a pretty unhealthy thing to do, huh?
Yeah. So the characters... Jesse is very religious, kind of like an old school disciplined guy. He does not see the moonshining as being that they're doing something wrong.
Right.
He says that they used to pay the taxes on the corn that they made it with.
Right. Before the federal government ever said it was wrong. So
what is it? Oh, okay. They're talking about the whole gambling thing. He said that's a vice and that's not okay. And
yeah, right. And then you got Bo, who's just sort of like he's always flirting with girls.
That's the blonde one.
Yeah. So he's just sort of, he doesn't think before he does things. He's just very impulsive.
Yeah.
And then
he looks really young. He looks like a baby face on this pilot episode.
And Luke is always, thinking ahead, like coming up with the plans. He's sort of the brains of the operation, I would say.
Yeah, I wrote down here, Daisy, when we first meet her, she is a tough, sassy waitress.
Right.
With a good hill stomp move that she uses.
Yeah, she doesn't take any crap off the guy that's hitting on her at the bar. That's for sure.
It's funny, early in the pilot episode, when they're doing all their racing and getaway car driving, they do like a play-by-play commentary. See, Daisy, in the first episode, Daisy's in a really cool car. A lot of these cars are like classic Mopar type of cars. She's in a yellow Roadrunner. I thought that car was really cool looking.
Yeah. So after we watched this pilot, I mean, for me, I would definitely want to keep watching. So, I felt
I would. Yeah.
Tempted to just keep watching what happens next, but of course we jump to the finale for our podcast.
And what about Cooter?
Fans.
Cooter seems, from the pilot, like he doesn't seem very bright.
No.
He steals a car and he's like, thinks it's cool because they impounded his car. So that was okay.
Yeah, it's like, it's, fighting fire with fire. He's like, the kind of trouble you're going to get us in. And he's like, no. And that's his response.
Why does this rural area have an orphanage?
That's interesting. But we don't see that girl. I think she was just a special guest star. So what happens to the orphanage after that? Like, they just don't care about it anymore? Or
does it ever come back up?
Yeah. And he seems like, Bo seems like he's really into that girl. So what happens with her? He just,
Yeah, I would keep watching. If I saw this, I'd like, boy, this is like nothing I've seen. Bo, Luke, Jesse, Daisy, very good actors, I felt like, on the show.
Yeah.
Okay, if everybody listening to it wants to pause our podcast right now and watch the finale, or watch every episode up to the finale, feel free to do so.
We'll be here when you're done.
We will be right here.
Yeah.
Waiting for you.
We're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
We're sitting right here.
And we're back. Okay, so you probably enjoyed every episode.
And we haven't aged a bit, actually. So,
all right. So the name of the finale is Opening Night at Boar's Nest.
Okay.
Is the name of the finale. And I believe it's time for me to do my 60-second synopsis.
Oh boy,
this will not be pretty.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting Clay with the synopsis.
Okay, this is gonna be ridiculous. Okay, let's do this.
All right. And on your mark, get set. Synopsis.
All right, so the show starts off. All the Dukes are together. Bo, Luke, Daisy are in the front seat of the General. They're moving down the road. They're all singing. They're practicing for this show that's going to be put on for charity. And also, Roscoe's practicing a magic show. Two bad guys get out of prison. They look really mean. One guy's real big. They want revenge on Hog. Not really sure why. Okay, and then they almost run into Bo and Luke on the road. Bo and Luke get out and they say, "Where'd you get your driver's license?" Cracker Jack box. And they Dude gets out of the car. He's real big, so there's like, okay, we'll just leave you guys alone. How am I doing there?
20 seconds.
Bo and Luke save Hog from getting hit by a car. The Dukes practice their song. Okay, and they're about to do the magic show. Boss, he goes through the trapdoor.
10 seconds.
Yeah, then he gets kidnapped, and then they want $1 million. He gets $1 million, shoots him, hits his credit cards, and they save him, and he's back in the magic show.
Oh, wow. Not bad, man.
I tried.
Wow.
I tried.
It's always crazy there the last 20 seconds.
It's like you get started and you think you got plenty of time, and you're just like, oh, what? 10 seconds? What the? Okay. Oh, man. Dave, your thoughts on the finale?
Wow. That was a fast finale, first of all. Like, that whole finale was over in like a minute, man. Like, what the heck? No, the finale was good. I thought it really, I mean, you didn't really get introduced to many new characters, but...
There was no new characters. There was Roscoe's sister / Boss Hogg's wife.
Yeah, who we get alluded to in the pilot, but she doesn't make an appearance there, and I'm not sure when she first appears, but again, she's not there for the pilot.
A lot of shows, they'll start off and then just like by the end of the show, it's like major character overload. Like I feel like Full House is a perfect example.
Yeah,
like,
they've got all the twins and all this stuff.
Or even The Office, they had way more characters at the end.
They did, yeah.
It felt like a finale because Boss Hogg getting shot, that's a major thing. And everybody's
darker.
Everybody's working together.
Which is odd because you think it's going to be the Roscoe and Boss Hogg against the Duke boys, essentially. And this time it wasn't like that. It
was a little different because a lot of times finales would be like a wedding or something like that. But this was a major event, I guess.
Yeah, I thought they did a good job. And they're all together. The whole cast is together in the last scene. So, yeah. Some
things that I liked is, like the last scene, they're all at the boar's nest together, which is Cooter, Daisy, Bo, Luke.
Enos
is there.
Yeah.
Jesse. Well, obviously Roscoe and Boss Hogg. Just the main characters are all together.
Yeah. Lulu's there too, I believe. Yeah. I guess at that point, maybe she's a main character. So everybody that's on the show.
When Enos was gone, you were saying that you think his replacement was...
Cletus.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember Cletus, and there was Enos and Cletus.
Yeah. Did they ever work together?
I think they did, yeah.
I wonder what happened. Why wasn't on the finale then?
Maybe they didn't have him on there very long. I'm not really sure. But there was Cletus.
So something that did come back around that Dave noticed.
The slot machines. Yeah.
Which is from from the pilot.
Yeah. That I so quickly explained. Yeah. So you see them in the same backstage area where the magic box that Boss Hogg is disappearing into. There's the slot machine in the corner.
We noticed Waylon Jennings has a different guitar in the finale than the pilot.
But the song is the exact same. Like, he didn't upgrade and do an electric version, but it's an electric guitar.
It's a nice looking electric guitar.
Yeah.
The first one in the pilot is a acoustic guitar.
You still don't see his face, though.
No.
Just his hands. So
just his hands.
Yep.
When the show was first filmed, it was actually filmed in Georgia, but it was later filmed in Santa Clara, California, which you can notice because it has different background. There's no woods. There's more like hills, a lot of the green stuff. Like here we are on the East Coast, you see a lot of woods outside. Like you don't see any woods.
Yeah,
a lot of hills.
True. So what do you think the best line from the finale was?
I enjoyed the back and forth between Roscoe and Boss Hogg.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I think there's a scene where Roscoe's first trying to get Boss Hogg to be his assistant, and he doesn't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
And there ends up all this stuff comes at him like a pigeon or something.
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, I just now got the pigeon feathers out of my underwear." And I thought that was a funny line.
I liked when he was talking about making Boss Hogg disappear, and he's like, "Why don't you make your fat sister disappear or something?"
Yeah.
And then she comes to the doors and hears him, and she threatens to stop cooking for him, which is why he does the magic show. That was really funny.
Yeah. Because he's got a business deal he's trying to do instead of the magic show. And she says, no way.
Something I thought was odd was Daisy Duke was no Daisy Dukes the whole episode. It was long sleeve shirt, turtleneck at one point.
I mean, it was February.
Long pants. But like you said, the pilot was in January.
Yeah. Well, they had to make a statement with a pilot. I mean, everybody already knew what her legs looked like at that point. So I think also you had to look at what was happening here. The story was very intense.
It was intense. And at one point they had him over a cliff and had the gun out. And
I mean, if you had Daisy Duke wearing her short shorts during that episode, like, would have anybody even cared that Boss Hogg was getting ready to get thrown off the cliff? I mean, I'd be like, well, at least we got Daisy's legs to look at, you know?
What do you think the funniest part was?
Wow. Yeah, I think the Boss Hogg and Roscoe stuff,
Yeah.
the whole magic trick stuff was pretty ridiculous.
Line.
But you know what was really funny was when Luke Duke was throwing the playing cards out to create a trail for Daisy to follow. I thought that was really funny.
Very MacGyver-ish. There just happened to be a tarp of the stolen truck that they jumped in back of. They start throwing the cards out the back. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
Something I thought would have been better is to have somehow every character to show up, like the cousins that filled in for them. Just,
oh, yeah. Where were they?
It would have been cool just to have everybody on there. And then also Enos's partner.
Yeah, Cletus.
Cletus, it would be cool to have him there.
Is there anybody else we're forgetting? I don't think so.
Or also, like a lot of shows, like Seinfeld did, they have a lot of these people that came in for a couple episodes.
Yeah,
all
little
come back
cameo
around.
type things. Yeah,
it would have been interesting to see some stuff come back around, like the girl's orphanage from the first episode.
Right? Yeah, where was she?
It would have been cool to see her at the orphanage and it doing well or something.
Yeah, or they could have she could have been in the audience, the talent show with some of her kids from the orphanage or something.
So what actors do you think looked a lot different from the first episode?
You know what they also, before we go into that, what they could have done, they could have had Goofy and Donald Duck and Mickey in the audience, and just to see if anybody noticed. That would have been...
You're going way off the path.
Oh, wait. I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of Little Mermaid, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we filmed that earlier.
Oh, right. Sorry. Now, where were we?
Well, we are here recording a podcast right now.
Oh, are we? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So you're not in the ocean.
Okay. Not under
characters that
under
look
the
different
sea.
from the pilot.
Okay. Well, Enos, he looks quite a bit older.
He looked a lot older.
They actually show a close up of the wrinkles on his forehead, which I thought was unnecessary. Like, really? They usually have him in a police hat in the pilot, so I guess you don't notice. Maybe he didn't age that much, but he's supposed to be the same age as basically the Duke boys.
What if things have changed with Enos from the first episode that they revealed?
He's no longer a virgin? Maybe. I mean, 7 years more? Gosh, man. He was already the oldest virgin in Hazzard County 7 years ago, so.
I thought Bo looked really young in the pilot. He looked a lot older. I thought Luke looked the same.
Yeah.
Jesse, of course, he looked the same. Cooter, I thought, looked a lot older.
Yeah, he did.
He looked pretty.
He didn't really have any lines to speak of.
He might have had a couple lines. That was it, huh? I thought the chases were better. This time you're actually seeing them, like, their banter. They're talking back and forth inside the car.
Right. Instead of just hearing the voiceover.
Yeah. I thought the music was better. The picture was better. Was way better.
Yeah.
Let's see. We already talked about characters we did not see that were on the show. I thought their main core of actors did a great job.
So who's your favorite character?
I think Daisy is cool and Bo and Luke Duke.
Okay.
Yeah, all equally.
If I had to pick a favorite, I'd probably pick, I don't know.
Daisy Duke.
Why? Why would you say that?
I just think that's probably who you'd pick.
Well, favorite. I mean, she's like this, like, woman not to be messed with.
Yeah.
Like, she's the total package, right? She's a beautiful woman. She can hold her own.
She can drive good.
In the chase scene, she can sing. I mean, and she can obviously, wear the Daisy Dukes like nobody else. So, I mean, yeah, I guess she probably is my favorite character.
Things that these actors have done outside the show. We both know that Bo is awesome in Smallville.
Yes, as the dad, Superman's dad. So, yeah.
He did a great job on the show.
Really good. Really good.
The Superman character and his father, great job.
Two best characters on the show.
Yeah. Oh, also the villain.
Oh, yeah. Lex Luthor.
Is really, really good.
Yeah. That Michael Rosenbaum. Yeah. He's really good, too. I like
Superman's mom, I didn't think was very good at all. Very just non-memorable at all. I thought they could have done way better.
Yeah.
Bo, what's his actual name?
John Schneider.
John Schneider. Yeah. Really good on that show.
He actually wrote and directed the finale. Did you know that?
Oh, okay. Good point. Yeah.
So that was interesting. So
the overall theme, I think, of the show is, I guess it's good versus good, overcoming evil. Even though
well, I think it's like the message they're trying to send is that not all good is not everything good is all good, and not everything bad is all bad. So like you got these guys who are criminals that are good old boys, so they can still have positive traits. Just because they got into a little trouble doesn't mean they're bad guys.
Yeah.
And essentially, like, yeah, they get in some trouble, but they mean well. So.
And they're always helping people.
Yeah, even Boss Hog,
yeah.
They keep him from getting hit by the car. I mean, so good old boys. They are good old boys.
So I have here the 2005 movie when they recreated Dukes of Hazzard, starring Johnny Knoxville, Jessica Simpson, and Stifler.
Sean William Scott.
Yes. So Dave, let's hear a comparison of Jessica Simpson as Daisy Duke and the original Daisy Duke.
First of all, Stifler.
I leave it to you, sir.
First of all, Stifler as Bo Duke just seems weird.
Does it?
Yeah.
As Bo.
Because I just think of him as Stifler. And
yeah.
There he is, Bo Duke. And then Luke Duke is Johnny Knoxville. Another really interesting choice. Although that makes more sense because he's a daredevil and he's driving the car. So that I could see that.
Jessica Simpson, a blonde instead of a brunette, but
so Jessica Simpson, not a fan of Jessica Simpson acting, singing.
Who's more attractive as Daisy Duke?
My friend.
And why? And by what means?
My friend, there's only one Daisy Duke, and her name is Catherine Bach.
Woo! All right.
Catherine Bach? Is that right? I hope that's her name. Her last name is Bach.
Well, why is that?
Before her, Daisy Duke did not exist. So she's the original. She's the OG.
OG, huh?
Yeah, she's the OG. And to this day, I don't think I've ever seen her replicated.
I feel the same way with Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
The original Wonder Woman.
Yeah, okay. All right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Linda Carter. Linda Carter. Oh, she is Wonder Woman. Jessica Simpson, I'm sorry. She's just on there because she was famous during that time.
They bring a lot of stuff back from our childhood, like pretty much everything at this point. And they always do like kind of like a watered down comical thing where they just make fun of it seems like, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not that these supposed to be taken serious, but I mean.
Right. And that's sort of the idea. I mean, you got two goofball actors playing the lead roles of guys who weren't really that goofy in their characters on the show.
I feel like John Schneider and
Tom Wopat,
they could have maybe brought them back as the characters.
I think they could have. I think they could have.
They seemed good enough.
Yeah, I think they could have.
And they always both seem in shape. So.
Yeah, so something that's funny to me from the pilot. So here's a scene where Daisy stops traffic literally with her bikini-clad outfit. And so then there's another scene right after that where the Duke boys are not wearing shirts, and then I don't even remember why. But so Tom Wopat, who plays Luke, is sitting there explaining the plan, whatever, to Bo Duke, and he puts his shirt on, but he doesn't button it, and then they just show him standing there talking without buttoning the shirt. He had so many opportunities to button the shirt, but you know, for all the guys who want to see Daisy Duke, I guess
he had to look cool.
The women out there who wanted to see his chest hair or something, so he had to start around to show his chest.
Well, it's pretty much left to them because it's not going to be Cooter or Roscoe or Boss Hog.
Why not Boss Hog, man?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, why not? Well, you got something to get against Boss Hog?
Were you surprised by anything in the finale?
Oh, wow. Well,
I was surprised he actually shot him. And I was like, whoa, somebody actually just got shot on the show?
Yeah, that's something. It's sort of like watching G.I. Joe and nobody ever gets killed. And then you're like, somebody shoots somebody. You're like, oh my gosh, this is getting real now. Yeah, Dukes of Hazzard is sort of like that. A lot of crazy things are happening, but ultimately it ends up working out, right?
Yes.
Wasn't so sure that was happening this time. I thought he actually shot him.
Yeah, it's a finale, and you're never really sure what can happen in a finale.
Yeah, I mean, this could be it for Boss Hogg, man.
And what if that was the finale? That would have been pretty cool, actually. I mean, not cool that somebody died, but like, what a dramatic ending that would have been.
Yeah, but that doesn't really go with the show.
No, that would have been really
what it represents.
Yeah,
a tragic ending to Dukes of Hazzard. Oh,
that would have been. Yeah,
that just doesn't seem right. No, I thought.
But you know how like in Dallas, like someone,
Dallas. Well, that was a more serious show. That was to be taken more seriously, except for JR. Yeah. Who shot JR anyway? All right. So, were you satisfied by the ending of the show?
I thought it was good. I thought it was a more dramatic storyline than their other episodes, so I guess so. But this is the finale. I don't know. I thought it would have been cool for they saved Boss Hogg's life, so now they get off probation or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Why didn't they do that?
And, you know, that leaves us, the audience, to think what's going to happen next. Like, are they all going to be all, you know, good now? And then they're going to, hey, you guys saved my life. I'm letting you off probation. So we can only assume and just...
If I could change something, it would be they're getting off probation.
Yeah.
And they go pursue their career in NASCAR or something again.
Oh, yeah.
Or something like that, you know?
Right.
Or like, you know how like everybody has like a storyline like in The Office?
Yeah.
Like,
oh, well, The Office, there's so many characters you have to cover.
Like, what about like maybe Daisy could have had like some kind of business takeoff or some kind of...
Yeah, she could have opened her own...
Or maybe she got married to somebody, or
she could have opened her own vegan restaurant in D.C. or something. Yeah, no, that really wouldn't have fit the theme of the show, I guess.
It'd be cool to see her kind of like be able to leave the Boar's Nest as a waitress and like a musical career.
Well, the thing about it is, while they did leave to go do the NASCAR, like that was just built in for them to explain them. But it seemed like a town where everybody just wants to stay and enjoy their life as it is. So building it up to be bigger than that, maybe it's a little unbelievable. I would have liked to see him get off probation though. Yeah,
that would have been cool. That would have been cool. Or some kind of, They definitely kept it simple. How about you? Were you satisfied by the finale? By the ending?
Well, yeah, I think I was.
Anything you would change?
Not really. I liked the ending, how they were all together at the end. Again, I agree with you. It would have been nice to see them. I didn't think of that until you mentioned it, but to see them get off the probation. But you can still assume that. That still could have happened. It just, they didn't go into all that detail. They wanted to.
It seems like they made a big deal about the reunion of Boss Hogg and Roscoe P. Coltrane. That was kind of like the big ending there.
Yeah, and it's almost like, for you Office fans out there who know about the Michael Scott Dwight Schrute relationship, it's sort of similar to Boss Hogg Roscoe P. Coltrane in a way where Dwight is like Roscoe and he finally warms up to him and tells him he's the greatest. It's a letter that he writes to Dwight
about a recommendation for a job.
Recommendation letter, yeah. And really speaks highly of him. And I think Boss Hogg finally warms up to Roscoe there at the end and realizes, man, he's all right. He's been a good sheriff and always been there for me. So, yeah.
All right. So I can wrap this up. I did. Well, all right, everybody. Thanks for joining us once again for another episode of Lost Conversation. So join us next time, everybody. Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Hey, guys. Dave here from the Lost in Conversation podcast. Just wanted to thank you guys for listening today. We'd love to hear some feedback from you